I posted the first video, just raw, unedited. By the end of the night, I had scheduled 8 appointments with potential capital partners. And by the end of that week, I had probably 20 meetings. Fast forward to today, my sister-in-law just ran into a guy who sold a pharmacy company yesterday. Had a great conversation with him. He doesn't even know me. He's already talking about potentially 250 to 500,000.
So now imagine if you had someone posting on your behalf, someone taking initial meetings on your behalf, and you're just talking to highly qualified investors and analyzing highly qualified deals. Think about what that lifestyle could look like then.
The sky is now the limit, honestly. I've been through a lot of coaching programs. What you have laid out is so strategic and dialed in. I've realized that, like, one, the fund, it's like the answer to everything. I've not operated like that before. Commercial is this big scary monster because it's just another level. If you're anything like me, whoever's listening, the thing that stops me the most is a lack of confidence. I don't want to go out and look like an idiot. This program and the coaching has given me the confidence to take the action. The amount of shift and change in my life and my business and the goals and the direction that I'm heading now is so significant. You start to see that there's this potential of freedom and ability to design your own future. I can't recommend Investor Coach enough.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Brad Ahrens with CRA Investor Coach. Today we are super excited to introduce you guys to Dominic Dangora, current member of CRA Investor Coach and having some incredible success with one of his products that he has recently launched. So Dominic, thank you so much for being with us today. Super excited to have you on.
I appreciate it.
So hey, just to give our viewers a little heads up on kind of who you are and what you've done, if you wouldn't mind just letting me know about your background and maybe even why you got into commercial real estate investing.
So I started as a lender 12 years ago. I built up a pretty significant team, great business. Not that I lost my purpose, but I was getting drawn to something else, something bigger. I eventually transitioned into commercial real estate and into really owning a business, which is where I am now. And throughout all of that time, my wife and I, we've been involved in real estate. She's a residential realtor, and with my lending background, we were just in the community. And so it was the next natural step to begin investing in both residential, commercial businesses. And so we've just had a great opportunity here in Oklahoma to do all of the above. And that's kind of what drew me to, actually led me to be part of your program.
Which of course we appreciate. Been a lender, investor, 12 years, but like, what's the bigger why on why did you get into investing and what was the appeal?
Yeah. So I think for me and for most people, it's the thought of freedom and control over my own destiny, if you will. We have 3 kids. We've been married for 8 years, and we've both been in the trenches for quite some time on the residential real estate side, the lending side. It's been very good to us and we've done well, but it's also cost us quite a bit in terms of the time that we've spent building those businesses and the time that we have to spend in those businesses. As much as we try to be on the business, it's just very difficult. You get your first deal under your belt and you're like, okay, well, you pull the trigger eventually, you take that risk and then it works out. Or at least it kind of pans out a little bit, and then you get the itch, and then you're like, okay, well, your brain starts going. You start talking to people, you start watching videos, joining masterminds, and you start to see that there's this potential of freedom and ability to design your own future. And that's really what drew me into it, is like there's way more opportunity and the potential for freedom.
I mean, I think that's the appeal for most investors, most aspiring investors, really kind of ability to leave, maybe your 9 to 5 as your passive cash flow starts to out exceed what you earn via ordinary income. And then plus it's the lifestyle, the ability to take control of your own destiny. But what I think is even more cool is that even just recently, I understand you started a new division. Literally, by the time that you went live was a matter of like 30 days before you guys closed on your first deal?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind just kind of walking us through kind of what your new business model is, when you launched, when you closed, and just that recent success would be awesome.
I really, really wanted to do this. I was hungry for it. And so I think that's what helped me to move so quickly, is because it just kind of took over my mind. And every waking minute I had, I wanted to spend time building it and getting it off the ground. And you even had to tell me during a session, like, hey, it doesn't all have to be perfect at launch. You just got to launch. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I think within like a week is when I funded that deal. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But so what I did is I started a private lending company to where I lend to fix and flip investors in the Oklahoma market that are purchasing 1 to 4 unit residential properties. They're either acquiring, rehabbing, refinancing, short-term interest-only loans, just giving them the opportunity to build their business on the acquisition side, while also giving opportunity to investors or capital investors who might not have the opportunity to earn more than, you know, what they're gaining in a CD, or what they're earning in a CD or in a money market account. So it's been eye-opening to see the kind of response from people that I had no idea would even want to be a part of this, both on the capital side and on the borrower side. So it's been a really exciting journey in the last, I don't know, 30 or 45 days. It's picked up a lot of momentum. And I'm just very, very grateful, because a lot of the conversations we had early on kind of led up to eventually getting here. I don't think I would have thought of the fund or had somebody like you to help guide me through what that looks like and how to approach it, and even who to talk to. You know, I knew wasn't going to rake me over the coals on the legal side. It's been really cool to start that company and have a couple deals under my belt, and really more opportunity than I have capital for right now. Or as you said, the opportunity is outpacing the capital.
First of all, congratulations basically on launch to close was 45 days. Now, I know there may be some people who are sitting here going, well, that's just a residential fix and flip. What's wild is the amount of money you raised is the same amount of money that most newer or mid-career investors would raise for a smaller commercial project.
That's correct.
And you're raising money in a way that is the same way commercial investors raise money in the form of equity. The difference is you're doing a lower risk debt fund versus a higher risk equity fund.
Yes.
And so the main difference is that you understand the risk profile of your investors. You've created an opportunity that presents a better return than the current alternatives: savings accounts, CDs, treasuries, money market accounts. So you're still in that lower risk profile, but your investors earn like 3 or 4% better than you currently can in a money market account, or even on the treasuries.
Correct.
You're still talking to all the same people that we're using on the commercial front for our equity funds. You're also targeting opportunities that probably transact at a faster click than commercial does. And your loans are paid back in a shorter period of time than commercial does. And I think you said one thing that will really resonate with a lot of our viewers. You took massive action. Things will never be perfect. Markets change, investors change, and you have to be nimble enough to navigate those times. The number of excuses we hear on, timing's not right, this isn't right, this isn't right. Well, you take massive action to actually get into business, and then you navigate those market conditions and challenges. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you're waiting for the perfect time, you would still be paying overhead.
Yeah.
And there'd be no revenue coming in and no opportunities on the horizon. There will be a point in time where you don't have any more money.
Right.
Now you have to go back to having a job.
I can't thank you enough for kind of not putting me in my place, but just putting that into perspective for me, because I'm the type, probably like many of us, we want it to look good and work properly. It didn't need to be the case. And to take it one step further, it was actually 3 weeks after launch that I funded that first deal. It's now been about 45 days. But I took it a step further and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this 30-day challenge. So I'm just gonna challenge myself to post on Facebook and Instagram every 30 days, just a quick 30 to 60 second clip to share with people what I'm doing. I posted the first video, just raw, unedited. I mean, right before bedtime. It was like 7 p.m. By the end of the night, I had scheduled 8 appointments with potential capital partners that were interested. And by the end of that week, I had probably 20 meetings with capital partners. Fast forward to today, it's like people are calling me asking more about the program and how it works, how they can be involved. My sister-in-law just ran into a guy who sold a pharmacy company yesterday. Had a great conversation with him. He doesn't even know me. He's already talking about potentially 250 to 500,000. I've realized that, like, one, the fund is super benefit. It's like the answer to everything. It's the answer to scalability for me in this business, acquiring in commercial properties as well. It's like the sky is now the limit, honestly.
Right.
I'm just scratching the surface, man.
You've probably learned more in those 20 conversations with investors that if you had waited to get things perfect, you probably would have had to completely change it because of some of the questions and comments you're getting from actual investors now.
That's right.
60-second clip, unedited, and the fact that you scheduled 20 appointments with active investors over 7 to 14 days. You closed your first deal in 3 weeks, and you can now see how you could easily scale this.
Yeah.
And then we'll start talking about, one of the things we cover is building out your team. So now imagine if you had someone posting on your behalf, maybe someone taking initial meetings on your behalf, and you're just talking to highly qualified investors and analyzing highly qualified deals. Think about what that lifestyle could look like then.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but as I'm working it, I'm thinking about those things and trying to be mindful of doing that cautiously and carefully, but also taking the action to move in that direction.
Well, we promote a conservative approach, risk adjusted, so we're not going to allow you to do anything that'll take your head off, but you still have to take massive action, like anything that's new. If someone came to you, right, they see this call, they see this video, they see what you're doing on social, and they were just looking for advice, on trying to start out in investing, or maybe even considering CRE investor coach in general, like what would you tell someone who's trying to look for some guidance?
First, I would think about how long I had been thinking about how I wanted to invest in commercial real estate, but I didn't because I didn't have the guidance. And commercial is this big, scary monster because it's just another level. I can tell you from the time that we started coaching to now, the amount of shift and change in my life and my business and the goals and the direction that I'm heading now is so significant because there's like really practical steps that you have to take in order to be successful in this business. Having the direction laid out step by step, module by module has really helped me to have the confidence because I didn't know all of this stuff before, but I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge of it now. And I come to you probably annoyingly throughout the week when we don't have sessions and I email you a lot. And I appreciate just the information that I get from you, but it's just taken me to another level. And so I can't recommend Investor Coach enough.
Frankly, you emailing and calling. Have you ever heard the phrase iron sharpens iron?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I look at coaching. You and I are both in the trenches. We're actively running businesses. Granted, we've taken lessons learned over the last 20 years and put it in a sequential step by step. You're grasping those concepts, but your business is different than mine. You're thinking about things. You're challenging me. I'm challenging you. I think of this not as kind of a client-customer relationship. This is more of a loose partnership that we're kind of heating through this together. I'm helping you, but your questions also help me. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
I got one last question for you, and I'm really excited for your response on this one, mainly because of the massive amount of progress you've made in a short period of time. Now, I think going back, you didn't just jump right in.
Right.
You and I started you pinged me on social media probably a year to a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
You saw us on a webinar we did with Rod at the Massimo group. You followed up with a couple questions, and then it was probably 6 months that went by.
Right.
And then you and I finally chatted, and you're like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And you've only been in the program for like a couple months.
Yeah.
New business, closing deals. So my last question for you is, what's in store for the future?
Honestly, I hate to say it, but it's honestly never been this bright for me and this exciting because this is the level that I want to be at as an investor. So building this company up, kind of deploying it in the way that I want to deploy it. I won't go into all of that, but I don't know all that's in store because it's like this endless possibility now that I have this knowledge of, how I can leverage funds and just the inner workings of it all. So it's like my mind, it just goes all over the place with opportunity potential. And sometimes I just have to rein it in to focus on the task at hand. But I mean, if anything, it's expanded my mind and so much to where it's helped me to take massive action.
Well, again, keeping you on track, right? That's a big component of accountability, of making sure you're doing all the right things, the blocking and tackling to move this thing forward. Like I said before I asked you, I'm super excited to see what's in store. You're already taking, like I said, massive action, moving towards your dreams, closing deals, ability to raise funds the right way through the correct offerings, deploying capital into great deals. Sky is the limit in this industry.
If you're anything like me, whoever's listening, the thing that stops me the most is a lack of confidence. I don't want to go out and look like an idiot talking to somebody or trying to do something that I don't know how to do, or I don't want to take the action because I feel like I'm going to mess up. This program and the coaching has given me the confidence to take the action. That's the biggest thing. You're going to know what to do, when to do it, more importantly, how to do it in a way that is just so strategic. I mean, I've been through a lot of coaching programs before, but this, like what you have laid out is so strategic and dialed in. It's like, it's amazing.
And for viewers, this was not scripted.
No. You know what? One of the modules is like something about a bullseye, or it's like shotgun approach versus the rifle.
Oh yeah, when we talk about your acquisition criteria and how to market shotgun versus rifle approach.
Absolutely. It's just so dialed in. It's that rifle approach, getting it super dialed in and then attacking it strategically. And it's incredible. I've not operated like that before.
I sincerely appreciate the kind words. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you. Can't wait to see what's next, because you've already blown me away just taking the massive action, your 30-day challenge on social. You're talking to the right attorneys on your offerings. You're already thinking bigger than even you were just 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That's what's super cool, is just to see what's next. Dominic, thank you so much for being with us today. I know you got a lot on your plate, but your story is really exciting, and I'm sure it will resonate with quite a few. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Brad.
And for those who want to learn more about Dominic and what he's up to, we will include a link to his website in his description. And of course, if you guys want to learn more about CRE Investor Coach, you can always check us out at creinvestorcoach.com. We are here for your continued success. And Dominic, once again, thanks again, buddy, for being with us.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.